may be able to help.
What's going on? I'm not from this world.
You know, when I first came up on this series, I actually thought it was like an American Chinese like documentary or docudrama, maybe so to speak, in regards to like American Chinese folks and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of left it alone for a while. And then actually I read the description and all that kind of good stuff, and I found out, oh, this is actually about one of China's most interesting mythos in regards to like the Jade, I believe it's the Jade Emperor and the Forbidden Kingdom and Heaven and the Monkey King and all that kind of good stuff. And it's actually a series of reimagining that mythos. So cool. Now I figure I can dive into this. I like that. That's where we're going with this. So, American Born Chinese is a coming of age fantasy series with martial arts mixed in for good measure. Now, these are all checks for me as I love, martial arts films and fantasy series, all that kind of good stuff. So, I'm the main character for this type of series. I give you main character energy on that. But for those that are casual viewers, I'm also going to go ahead and actually give a perspective as far as what, casual viewers are looking for in this kind of series as well. You see, I figure that you want to go ahead and actually know what perspective somebody's reviewing a movie from or a series from, just to know what their biases are, so you can kind of evaluate that in your judgment as well. I watched the first 2 episodes of new content on streaming services to see if they're worth your time. If you like that, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let me get into this review for you. American Born Chinese premiered on Disney Plus in May of 2023. It contains 8 episodes that run on an average about 35 minutes. It stars Ben Wang as Jin Wang, Yan Yeoh as Christine Wang, and Chen Han as Simon Wang. The story goes this is a story of Jin Wang, an average teenager juggling his high school social life with his immigrant home life. When he meets a new foreign student on the first day of the school year, even more worlds collide as Jin is unwittingly entangled in a battle of Chinese mythical gods. The action comedy explores issues of identity, culture, and family. Now, this type of series has many things that a main target audience is looking for. You want to have a likable character to follow on the journey. You want good world building for the fantasy aspect of things. And for entertainment value, give some good action and or comedy. If you do the action and comedy well, main target audiences will forgive it if you don't build the story or the character well. But you can't fail both of those. Okay? So laying that out there for the main target audience. However, for a casual viewer, they'll simply want a simple fantasy world. They don't want an overcomplicated world to follow, and it's hard to go ahead and actually understand who these people are or anything like that. They don't want to deal with that. Okay? They still want a good fleshed out main character, and they'll likely want a well-established antagonist to give gravitas to the whole story. Now, the action can help cover up some of the shortcomings of some of those other issues. But a casual viewer is going to be less tolerable than a target audience when it comes to shortcomings. So let's take a closer look at this series. The main character of Jin is a sophomore in high school that really just wants to blend into the crowd, which he does pretty well. But he can never truly do it because he's Chinese in typical American public school. Okay, so we have that dynamic. Now he's at a crossroads because he's trying to reinvent himself a bit, trying to speak up more, trying to branch out, but he's also afraid to make waves as he climbs the social ladder of high school. We all know what a teenager, growing up as a teenager, is like. Now I like the actor overall. He kind of conveys the shy, reserved aspect of things pretty well. And so he's pretty likable. His mother and father are pretty good in their roles as well, especially the mom, as she sees her son struggle more and more, and she's the one that's constantly trying to urge and kind of cheerlead him and even her husband so that they can go and actually be more boisterous. Like father, like son, they're both kind of reserved, and they just don't put themselves out there like that. And the mom has really kind of encouraged them to kind of be out there. The rest of the characters in the show are okay. They're nothing phenomenal. But I think both mains and casuals will find the acting acceptable, but not exceptional. The story of Jin navigating school and finding his voice is one aspect. The other is kind of like the otherworldly existence of the kingdom of heaven. This is where we see the Monkey King's son has stolen his iron staff and fled to Earth with it. And so without the staff, the kingdom is in danger. The Monkey King's son befriends Jin, thus begins a relationship and story intertwining. Now again, kind of understanding that the kingdom of heaven and all that kind of stuff, that realm is in a different dimension, if you will, different world or whatever, something like that. So his Monkey King's son goes and actually jumps to like Earth in that realm or what have you, like the mortal plane world, and that's where he's currently existing, what have you. So while the stories are intertwining there, the story isn't any kind of heavy lifting in regards to what's being told or conveyed. It's family friendly and it's lighthearted, and it's told in kind of like a decent way. It does feel that the story is kind of being dragged out for a TV series sake. I think a movie would have been very well in this. Very much like I love the movie The Forbidden Kingdom, starring Jet Li and Jackie Chan, and they kind of told of this mythos, and they told it from one particular perspective, what have you. And I think a movie is a very good way to convey it out, but they elected to go with a series here. Now I get that this is a different take and it's a different story, but I'm just a sucker for like more action and all that kind of good stuff in there, so that's why I'm a little biased on this one. Overall, I'll say that the story is tolerable for mains and casuals alike. It's easy to follow and it's not too complicated, but again, it drags in spots. Other notables are, there's 3 fight scenes in the first 2 episodes, which are pretty decent, especially for television and things of that nature. It has some goofy quirkiness in there because it's more family friendly and things of that nature, but it's competent. It's done in a way that can be fun to watch. They're very much in the realm of kind of Chinese fantasy mechanics, so thinking in the way of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you know the mechanics of the way that Chinese fantasy flicks go, that's what this show is going for as far as stylized and things of that nature. It's decent choreography, and some inventive things were done with the settings that they were in. They did kind of speed up the movements to give the appearance that everything was happening quicker pace than a regular mortal fight, and it was done. It's a little hokey, but it's done fine for what it is on that, because the gods are obviously supposed to be moving at quicker speeds or what have you, so it's a little bit different. If you kind of think about this, is that 2 of the characters that are actually on the thumbnail or the posters for this is Michelle Yeoh, who is very famous now, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Quan, I think it is. We all know him as Short Round or the kid from Goonies, okay? And him and Michelle Yeoh have killed it in Everything Everywhere All at Once, the 2022 hit. And so they're actually both in this movie, but they're not playing significant parts, but they're on the thumbnail on there. So it's kind of like a way, I think, to kind of get you reeled in, and hopefully maybe they come into like some of the later series, but in these first 2 episodes, they're there in a very short manner. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as well. But let's go ahead and actually get to the verdicts. For everyone, I'm going to go and actually say watch 1 episode for this show. The first episode will introduce the characters and the world to you. It's a good example of where the story is going. It contains 2 fights, and it's done in a way that won't bore you. I think both types of viewers, both mains and casuals, will get the benefit of just watching that 1 episode, and you'll know from that 1 episode if it's for you or not. You don't necessarily have to get to a second one to make the determination. If it's for you, you'll know it at the end of episode 1. If it's not, same thing. So again, for both mains and casual audiences, I'm going to go and actually suggest to watch 1 episode. And that's what I have for American Born Chinese on Disney+. Check it out.
Here.
So freaking unbelievable. Everything is more connected than you think.
Huh.
I appreciate you giving me your time and attention, all that kind of good stuff. Never know how much I appreciate it. Do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe if you like this video. Also, go ahead and actually check out one of my other videos that maybe YouTube thinks that you'll like to hear another review. But until the next time, I'll holla at you. Take care of yourself.